a new battleground. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. No game is left behind because we're seeing everything. Welcome to November 1982.
Yes, and if you're too peaceful a person to dump napalm on enemy village where there might be.
And we were last having a froggin' good time with 3 official Frogger games. Let's see what our next game is. Our next game takes us to the arcade to play Frontline. Oh yeah, let's play some Frontline. Here is the advertisement flyer for Frontline. The hottest action is at the Frontline. Now, this is the advertisement flyer for the North American release. We are in Japan playing the very first release of this because this is by Taito. Very nice artwork, and then here we go. There's the Taito one. Looks very, very different. It actually reminds me of the cartoon aesthetic that Frontline is. But what is this, medieval castles? Oh, wait a second, hold on. Is this World War II? Are we in Europe? I guess they're kind of mashing all kinds of things together. I know, right? We won't be able to see that one this time. Flip it over in the back, and the advertisement flyer has lots of things to try to get people to buy the cabinet because you're going to get lots of money. Everyone's going to want to pump quarters into this system, and here's why. That's what all of them say. Here's the arcade cabinet for Frontline. It's a very unique arcade cabinet, at least control-wise. Display is very, very nice. This is the upright cabinet. I believe they only did upright. But if you look at a little closer, notice that the controls have an 8-way joystick and something different. Here's the arcade PCB, and there's our control panel. We have an 8-way joystick on the left, but look at the right. It is a spinner with a push down to fire feature. So it is essentially you don't really have 2 joysticks, but it's essentially you're being able to control both the movement of your character and the aiming and fire. Plus, you have the grenade and tank button, which means you're going to have to go from that hand spinning the spinner and pushing the fire button to your hand on the other side for the grenade or the tank button. Yeah, there's the controls for Frontline in the arcades for the first time. Here's the arcade marquee. Oh man, yeah, it's a really, really influential, very, very big release. Besides that, there's the screenshot for Frontline. We have the operator's manual for Frontline, at least from North America, and let's just see what they have to say about the game when it first came out or was released. Lots of information here because it's for operators to assemble. Make sure you don't get shocked. Make sure you have all the parts whenever you buy your arcade cabinet and so forth. This marks the 475th arcade game we've played on the show. Lots of arcade out there. It started in the arcade. Frontline is Taito's newest action war game. Traveling through enemy territory, the player must accomplish the ultimate mission or meet a violent end, capture the enemy fort, and win total victory. The journey begins slowly with the player armed with a gun, special gun control, that's that little spinner, and hand grenades. Quickly, he becomes a target for enemy soldiers who also have guns and grenades. Moving faster, he races past trees that hide the enemy, who now unleash an ambush barrage of bullets and bombs. Even the ground he races over has been booby-trapped with landmines. If the player successfully makes it through this deadly obstacle course, he meets an even greater challenge. The enemy is attacking with tanks. It's a tank, another tank. His gun's now useless. The player can stand and fight with grenades or leap into his own tank using the special tank button. The battle rages on all fronts as the player fights for his life, racing for cover behind brick walls while outrunning grenades thrown by soldiers in foxholes. It's an all-out war when the player jumps from his tank into a larger one with greater firepower. Now comes the final test of victory as the enemy's fort looms in sight. The player must leap from the tank, run through the hail of bullets to throw one final grenade, and the white flag heralds total victory. Very interesting and a great synopsis for the game itself. Now, we're not going to go through the rest of this manual because this manual is all about assembling your unit. We're not assembling arcade cabinets here on Chronologically Gaming. Let's go to the arcade and play Frontline for the very first time by Taito in the beginning of November 1982. This is the 62nd game we've seen by Taito. Taito. Look over on the left side, this bezel that's around the outside of the arcade cabinet was for the North American release, and they're even giving you instructions of how to play. It's a little hard to see here on the show, but it kind of makes you feel like if you're looking down on the upright arcade cabinet, what it would be like to experience the game. But we're playing first in Japan. This is the Japanese release of Frontline. Big, big release. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a coin in and explain the controls. And let's go. We get a drummer, bringing us out. So the left joystick is control. I have 8-way movement of my guy. On the right side though, that spinner allows me, look, to spin my gun all the way around and have. I look like I have no idea what I'm doing, but you can spin the gun completely around, and you have a fire button. This is me pushing down the spinner to fire the gun. So I really got to tell you that most emulation doesn't do this justice, because this is a very rare control scheme. We have seen true twin stick shooters that have 2 joysticks, you know, one for movement, one for aiming your shot. This one isn't true. They actually emulate this that way, but they don't. The game doesn't really play that way. It's using a spinner to go completely around, and you can use that to have a more nuanced shot for your aim. But you know, the emulation can't really do that justice. The only game that comes close to this kind of control scheme is one we played a long time ago, my Nintendo, Sheriff or Bandito. That one had an 8-way joystick on the left to move your sheriff around, but then it had a dial that you were using to twist, and you pushed in the dial to fire. So this one's like kind of like an upgraded control scheme to that one. I'm just messing around as I'm playing with the controls here. It's just very, very unique to be able to control it this way, and this is not the true control scheme. You even had more fine-tuned aiming that you could play in the arcade. So right now, if you were to play this yourself, I would love to know if there's any other versions that Taito's brought, like compilations, that have the true control scheme. Because there's really nothing that plays like this. Yeah, try it yourself, because it won't be the same. You will not be able to play it as if you were in the arcade. That 8-way joystick and a spinner with a fire shot. So we have played twin stick shooters up to this point, true twin stick shooters. This is the 13th game that's essentially like that. You can move around at the same time and fire and aim at the same time. All right, so let's go in for real. We had our game over. I messed with the dip switch a little bit in the back of the arcade cabinet to give us some more lives, but let's go ahead and go in. If we do a 2-player game, it is hot seat multiplayer arcade style. All right, let's do this. Going in for real. I love how the grenade feature has this slight curve. You can even use the grenade to blow up the mines, but if you're in anything of the range of the explosion of the grenade, you will die. So another thing to note is I can throw the grenades over trees just like this, hit the enemies on the other side, and then I can scroll the screen whenever I want to. So it's not auto-scrolling. It's taking your time. Whenever you decide to move on top of the screen, then it keeps going. That'll take care of both of them. Nice. You can also take care of those landmines, but you will get stuck in the holes, so you got to be careful. Nice. Take out some of those guys. See if we can take him out. Oh, we got someone coming from the back. And you got to use all the range of your shot to be able to take everybody out. Oh, they're gonna have me walk right over the mine. All right, let's do it. Keep making our way to the top. I get a couple shots fired off before I have a little pause where I can't shoot anything. But you really got to be on your toes. You have to be constantly moving, constantly shooting, aiming at the same time that you're moving. And then here's a good one. Hit the grenade button and you're now in a tank. So you've now switched to a vehicular combat game. And you can do this to blow up the other tanks. And look at this. Now I have even more movement. I'm moving around the screen even freely. This is crazy. So it's not even just scrolling vertically. It's just all over the place. When you go in the grass, your tank slows down. And now it's almost like we've changed the game completely. Oh, wait. It's not going to let me... We'll take him out. Even the tanks that are slowing down, it won't... Can we not go in the water? Oh, we can. Oh my gosh, it's like a hover tank? This is crazy. And then, quick, you gotta get out of there before it blows up or you're gonna die. So you hit the tank button again, and then you're out of there. And the only way you can blow up these tanks is with grenades. So I'm just gonna keep running my life. I think there was another... Oh, there was a heavier tank down the end. Let's see if we can get that one before they kill us. Quick, quick, quick. Oh, it's gone. No, it despawned. I don't believe it. I scrolled down. I scrolled down and lost the other tank. Oh yeah, very influential. This one is one of the very first true run-and guns, top-down run-and guns. All right, let's hop in this one. Easy. You gotta move and dodge. Dang it, I lost it again. And blow them up and then get out of there as fast as you can. Alright, let's see if we can take out this tank here. He didn't jump out in time. Sorry, you didn't make it. Alright, let's see if we can keep going here. There's another one. No! And trying to jump in, I lost it. So we have checkpoints that are saving the position. I'm still on the 1 credit, but like I said before, I modified the dip switch in the back to give me some more lives, so I can show a little bit more of the game. At this time, if you were an operator, hopefully you started the dip switch on an easy difficulty to allow people to play more of the game. And then let's put a coin again and then go again, and notice that it's right there back at the beginning. So there is no pay-to-play feature on this. It is, you need to be that good to continue on. Oh yeah, unique controls for sure. For multiplayer modes, it's not doing really anything special. It's still the same hot seat multiplayer arcade style. What? How did that guy not die? Yeah, I like the different gun controls too. Having the ability to throw grenades over the top of things. So much fun. So if you try this with either emulation or with compilations, you're not going to be able to play it exactly like you would in the arcade. They're going to be treating this like a true twin-stick shooter. It essentially plays the same way, though. So, of the 13 twin-stick shooters we played thus far, right now, some of the really good ones you could be playing would be Rescue in the arcade. Yeah, let's jump in here. Splat is another one we played. Tutankhamun. Oh, I can just jump in and out? That's awesome. Is another twin-stick shooter we played. Oh, nice. So if you do you have the normal shot, but you can't hop out of the tank earlier than that. That's awesome. So can I just scroll any way I want now? If I don't die. We also played the eponymous Robotron 2084, and then before that was Space Dungeon, before that was Lost Tomb, and then Mars, and then Draco. So lots of twin-stick shooters that we've already played. Oh yeah, the multiple modes. Yeah, definitely, Curtis. Being able to go from the tank back and forth, and notice that they switched it up where it's not scrolling the screen vertical. It actually opens up even more map. It makes me feel like a little bit like Rally X. It's larger world. So this is the attract mode, showing you what it's like to get to the boss or the end of it here. And this run and gun genre is really, really early. We said Berserk was kind of like a run and gun, a top-down run and gun, moving from room to room. But for the most part, this is the originator of the top-down run and gun video game. It is highly influential. We're going to see lots of video games adding the auto scroll to this, where you have to fight and shoot your way through. While the control scheme is awesome in the arcades, it's not going to be translated as well when we get back home. The arcade obviously is going to be the way to play this. That bullet went right through that guy. Let's see if we can get these guys. That's looking good. You also got to watch out for rocks for some reason. But this is a blast. This is a lot of fun to play. And this reminds me of all the other games we saw that were scrolling, colorful, had more, just the raster graphics had been improved. It was like we were leading up to this. This is the game that is one of those games of the future. Yeah, the theme's a little interesting, though. It's supposed to be a war game, but it's like it's not taking itself seriously. Especially when I'm brandishing a gun, just waving around all like a crazy person. Don't blow up that tank. Oh, gosh. Get out of there. Oh, I wasn't fast enough. If they take enough hits, then your tank just goes down. I don't think I'm going to make it now. I'm going to have to find a tank fast. Some of the enemies look like they're scrolling with me. Well, that's not fair. I could get a lucky grenade in, but this is essentially just running for my life. There's one. Let's go. Ha ha ha. Oh, yeah. Feel the power. Oh, and it's already dead. So, oh, it can take more hits, apparently. So I jumped out prematurely, but if you can get run over by the tank really easily. Yeah, Robotron 2084 for sure. Completely different feel of the game, because Robotron 2084 was going level by level, but it was on a fixed screen. This one opening up like a larger world is really impressive. Not that I'm bashing Robotron 2084, that one's fantastic. Yeah, this is still great. Oh, I should have gotten that tank back there. I want to see if we can get up to the top here and see the end. I don't know if I can sneak by this guy. All right, I can. Quick, go! Oh my gosh, I really need... There's a tank. Go, go, go! Gosh, and then we have to... Yeah, you have to jump really fast or they're going to blow you up really quick. So cool. So the tank mode kind of reminds me of Strategy X in the arcade. Excellent game. This is like a combination of two of those games together. So the run and gun games of all the top-down run and guns games we played so far, most have been top-down. This is the first scrolling top-down run and gun game we played. Majority of them have been Berserk variants, and this is still very impressive. For all the games you can be playing up to this point in November 1982, it's awesome. This is one of the best games you could play across all the arcade games up to this point. I would start at 4.5 stars. I've already seen some 4 stars in the rating, 3.5 to 4. 4 for unique controls. Yeah, I'm going to have to go higher. Because of its influence and because of how well it works in the arcade, I'm going to go 4.5. I won't be as kind, though, with the home releases, because Frontline, when it gets translated home, it doesn't have the same effect. Here in the arcade, though, it's one of the best. 4.5. And for the influence, you can't match that. Hey, great. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're here still playing every video game in order of release. And that was the release of Frontline. Let's see what our next release is. Next is on the BBC Micro. This is Fruit Machine. Oh gosh, this means we are doing every single video game. Here's the box for Fruit Machine. I really don't want to show anything else because all this is on the BBC Micro is essentially a fruit slot machine. And that's it. There's the cassette case for Fruit Machine. And that's all I'm going to show. I'm not even going to boot this game up because what you see over there is what all it is. It's just a slot machine video game. We're going to see a lot of these, and I won't spend too much time on these. I'm going to go all the way down and say it's a 1-star game of all the games you could play. If you really like gambling and slot machines, there's better games out there. But we do showcase every single video game, and there's proof. Let's see what our next game is after this commercial break.
Galaxian warriors, today we're going up against the most feared commander. And everyone counts. Even you, Quid.
Man your ships. Man your ships. Man your ships. We're going in. Assume attack formation.
What a cool idea.
I'm peeling off. Cover me. Cover me.
Under on that blue leader.
Heavy fire. 17 degrees. Affirmative.
This guy's good.
Watch your back.
We lost blue leader.
I'm hit. Who's left?
Quid.
No.
Awesome.
Quid, you're credit to your cartridge. Galaxian, the arcade hit, now for the Atari 2600.
He pulled through. It is the release of Galaxian for the Atari home computer 400 or 800. Let's check out some Galaxian. What a great commercial. That was so cool. Thinking and imagining they're all inside your cartridge is so much fun. All right, so this is the very first time that we're going to see Galaxian at home. Either this or the Atari 5200. They were really close in their release. The front of this box, though, is kind of interesting because, first of all, the artwork's fantastic. The way that they designed this is great. When you see this on the Atari 5200, they take off their masks. So on the Atari home computer, they have their masks on and then they take them off. But yeah, well done. This marks the 388th game we've played on the Atari home computer. We first saw this game in the arcades in October 1979, and oh my gosh, the only other official game in the series up to this point was Galaga in the arcades in September 1981. There has been no official Galaxian games in the series. This is the first time we have an official Galaxian at home. This is the first time we've played it, and it is available also for the Atari 5200. That's brand new. We haven't seen the 5200 version yet, but it's pretty much the same thing. We can now play the game at home. Flip it over in the back. Blast or be blasted. Oh man, this is so big. Relentlessly they come, the Galaxians. Drones, emissaries, and hornets lead the way. Oh man, so much fun. That's true. Not as good as Galaga, but we have only seen Galaga, and to this point in video gamedom, we have not seen any video game that has the element of Galaga. You know, when your ship gets taken up, we haven't seen that anywhere. With all the variants, there's been nothing. There's been some games that come close to Galaga, but nothing that's exactly like Galaga. So this is still big. All right, what other artwork do we have for Galaxian? Yes. Besides the box, here's the ad you would have seen in some magazines with Video Easel. I don't know what's with Video Easel, but there's Super Breakout Defender and Galaxian down at the bottom. This is cartridge. Yes, and do not plug this cartridge into your Atari 5200. It just will not work. I can't explain why, some terrible decision by Atari, but there's the cartridge we're going to pop into our Atari home computer. Oh yeah, and there's the amazing artwork, and that's what I was talking about. This is the artwork you see on the front of the Atari 5200 with the masks removed. Very well done. I even like it better than the artwork they had in the arcade version. And there's the example of the screenshot. All right, I don't know if we need to know how to play Galaxian, because at this point, we've played games called Galaxian or Galaxians. They just weren't official. We've seen Galaxian and Galaxians on the Epoch Cassette Vision. We've seen it on the Bally Astrocade. We've seen it on the Intex as a handheld. We've seen it on the X80 Sorcerer. We've seen it on the Acorn Atom. We've seen it on the ZX81, the ZX Spectrum, the BBC Micro, the Emerson Arcadia 2001. All those systems have had the game Galaxian. It just wasn't official. Wait, what's the asterisk mean on this manual? Is it not official? The Galaxian Invasion. So this is how to insert the cartridge and play. Oh, plug in the joystick in, get your Atari VCS joystick plugged in, and then there it is, the option key, select key for your Atari home computers. How to switch it from a one-player to two-player game, and then we have game modes or game variations or difficulty. We need some of those. So much fun. The galaxies are endless, and from some distant quadrant comes things never seen or even dreamt of by humankind. The dark between the stars, driven on either by their pounding wings, come the Galaxians. So the select key lets us have different game levels, 0 through 9 levels of difficulty. The letter B difficulty just means a beginner's level, so they have a beginner mode too, which is kind of cool. And then we have the start key to play, system reset, spacebar if you want to pause the game. Man, it's so close to the Atari 5200. Why did you do this, Atari? I mean, that's part of why the crash was there. So we are the last chance for Planet Earth. Haven't heard that one before. Here's the lore of Galaxian. So the Galaxians are the enemies. We're going to be taking them out. We're going to slide our ship to the left, to the right. Oh, man, they have the artwork in pixel art of all the enemies. Great. Now, they have some really cool tips and tricks to show us, too. Yeah, some strategy right here. You can fire as often as possible, back and forth. It doesn't tell us how many bullets, but between shots, this is a little different than the arcade version. Your next missile is going to sit on the nose of your ship, which means you can have a missile there, and when enemies come close, they'll just hit it and die. So it's almost like you have a shield that'll kill them. Really, really nice. Sets this one apart from all those other Galaxian variants we've seen to this point. Oh, very good. So never forget the Galaxian bombs. Even after you destroy them, you're going to die from those. Watch out for that. And then it has all the scoring and difficulty level displayed here. Pause the screen if you want to know how to play Galaxian. First, here on the Atari. Man, the Atari's big for the home computer. They had Centipede come out first for all the home computers as well. Let's pop in and play Galaxian. This is by Namco. Brought to us by Atari in the beginning of November 1982. And there's a little bit of the artwork in the top of the screen. The artwork was done by James Kelly. Way to go, James. Who did the port for this one, though? I do not know the developer at Atari that did this one. If anyone wants to give me the developer, I'll gladly credit them. So it's just great. So this is what you get when you first boot the game up. This is the 18th game we've seen that Atari has done and published on the Atari home computer. So there's 18 games they've done for the Atari home computer, not including the Atari Program Exchange. That's a totally different thing. This is just Atari themselves. And this is the very first game that Namco has done on the Atari home computer. They've done 21 games in the arcade, 2 on the VIC-20, and 1 on the Atari VCS. So Namco still is not really at home. They're really in the arcades right now rather than at home. All right, so I'm going to go with just game mode. You can see I can switch between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the top left corner. I got 9 different game modes, and I got beginner mode. I'm going to go with game mode level 1, and then if I hit the option key, you can go 1 or 2 players, but it is hot seat multiplayer. You can't play at the same time. All right, here we go. Ready and go. The amount of enemies on screen is the first thing that hits me for all the games we played up to this point. Notice all the enemies at the top. They're having the movements of Galaxian, but just the amount of on-screen enemies is really, really nice. And I can only fire one bullet at a time, so it's just like the classic version of Galaxian in the arcade. Enemies are coming at me. I feel I also have a lot of real estate to move around, left and right. It feels like they're giving me lots of room to move left and right compared to the other ones we've played at this point. And this is very antiquated if you think about it, because when Galaxian came out, the big reason Galaxian was so big is because it had the color, the way they had the color in the arcade. Plus the movement of the ships. We already had some games that did that. You know, they took Space Invaders and had some movement of the ships, but it really was the color that was blowing it up. So here on the Atari, most of the color is a little bit more drab than the other ones. All right, I'm going to go with game mode 3 now and reset again. And they are going to tell us, based on how well we do, the top of the top right of the screen has a flag, and that'll be your rank. I also want to show off the way your bullet can sit on the nose of your ship like it is right now. And if you come in contact, like head-on with an enemy, they'll blow up like that. You can use the nose of your ship essentially like as a laser sword or a lightsaber. Cool idea. We haven't seen any game do that. But this game plays very well. It has all the features you'd expect. This is essentially, it's like the Atari home computer is delivering the games we were expecting, and the Atari VCS is not. This is what we were expecting. Centipede is what we were expecting whenever it came out on the Atari 800. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I do know that there's lots of different ways you can play and emulators you can play this on. Whenever I get ready to do the show and play these games, I'm testing them on several different emulators. I got my usual 4 or 5 that I'll try them on and see which ones are going to run the best. Because not only do I have to make sure the graphics look all right, but I also got to make sure the sound is okay, and then the controls too. Because there's some emulators, like for example here on the Atari 400 800, they won't accept paddle controls or trackball like the other ones. Man, this plays so well. I kind of want to see what beginner mode is like. Let's switch to beginner mode and go. Did the enemies even shoot back at us? Oh, now it feels like I'm playing Space Invaders. After playing all the video games up to this point, it also feels really weird to play a shooter where I only can shoot one shot at a time. I'm used to a little bit more firepower, so I can liberally just fire away, and now I have to aim, concentrate. Remember, this is make every shot count. Oh, he juked me. Look at that guy. But presentation is very well done for a home computer. It's awesome. It's actually surprising how well this plays and how good this is, considering it's I don't know if I want to say old arcade game. It's the very first time that we got actual Galaxian, official Galaxian at home. But it has a lot to live up to. This is a fixed shooter. Just move left, right, and fire. It is the 361st fixed shooter that we played across all systems up to this point. That's a lot of shooting that we've done. It is the 35th fixed shooter that has been on this home computer alone. On the Atari home computer, this is the 35th time we've played a game where we're moving left, right, and firing. So if you want to be even more granular, this is obviously the actual Galaxian game, but we've played 79 games that are variants of Galaxian so far across all systems. Here on the Atari home computer, we played 5 variants of Galaxians already. And so there's already that many out there. Across all home computers, though, right now, some of the best ways you could play Galaxian right now were things like the arcade machine, where you could design your own Galaxian game. That one was on Apple II and Atari home computer, so that's why you wouldn't be able to design the Starfield in the background, but you could design something really close with the arcade machine up to this point. There's also another one that's out there called AE, which is a very well done shooter that's Galaxian-like, but even on a better level. It's kind of borderline Galaga, too, with the way the enemies move around. Another really good one is Bandits, that's on home computers. Gorf is also on home computers, that has kind of a Galaxian-style level to it. Bug Attack, and then Centipede, which is also out there on home computers. Colorpede on the TRS-80 color computer is also out there, that's really good. Exit is another one that's out there. Escape from Arcturus. Falcons, which is another one, and that one kind of takes nods from Phoenix-style games. And then Grid Runner is another shooter that is just very, very well done. Cosmic Fighter is another one, or Demon Seed that's on the TRS-80. All these are very, very good shooters, and so I'm sure, unless you've tuned into every episode here on the show of us playing every single game, you'd be aware of how many other shooters are out there, and this Galaxian, official Galaxian for the first time, has a lot to live up to. Does it really deliver? I still really enjoy this. I'm amazed at how well this plays, how good this is. It's a very polished game right now. And we're going to see the same thing, pretty close to the same thing, on the Atari 5200. We're putting together an episode that's going to be the release of the first 3 launch games. We've already played Super Breakout on the Atari 5200, and we're going to be playing 3 other launch games that were on the 5200 in the same episode. So all 3 of those games, one of those will be Galaxian. It's so hot right now. I'm faring much better on beginner mode, but you can crank this sucker up. Yeah, watch this. You can go all the way to level 9, and watch how intense. I like to do the highest level sometimes because I want to see just how many on-screen characters they can go at once. Here we go. Ready, and hit it. Watch me die. They are raining down bullets. You've got to be on your game to dodge them all. And if you play 2-player, you're not going to get you and your friend are pretty much going to be out of luck helping each other. You're just going to play multiplayer, hot seat arcade style. So you can't come in and work together to play on it, all of them. I wish they had other game modes like they did when they brought Space Invaders home, but I wonder if Namco had something against that. But I mean, look at what's happening on that's really what's the most impressive part of this, is of all the games we played, the amount that's happening all at once is great. So I'm looking over the chat. I'm seeing lots of 4 stars for all the games you could play across all home computers right now. It's amazing the Atari is delivering again the first time, getting the rights and bringing it to the Atari home computer, like with Centipede. Well, they did Centipede, but Galaxian's Namco. There we go. All right, so I guess level 9 isn't that bad, but gosh, so much fun. All right, we'll see the 5200 version soon. So looking over the chat, I like Gorg level. That's nice. Yeah, 3, just mainly because of the age. Yeah, Curtis is saying, it's not that big a deal. It's so old. And we also say 4 stars. Excellent. I know, right? Yeah, well, for us, it's a saturated genre because of all the games. We're playing single thing that's out there. It does seem a little too late to bring Galaxian. Galaga would be the one to bring right now, but actually Galaga is going to be released even later than this. There we go. 3.5 since it's official. Yeah, could have been better, and then a 4.5 as well. Yeah, I'm actually on the fence too. I could swing both ways. I could see this as this is too late. Around the average 3.5 stars of all the games you could play. But I will give it credit for the amount of enemies on the screen, and that really makes it fun. And it does have difficulty levels that bump it up, but this is still excellent. I still want to give it credit for an official game playing this well. For a home computer release, it's around the 3.5 to 4-star range for me. I don't know if I could say it's one of the best games you could play across all home computers, because we played variants that change a few things up and make them really, really good. So I'm going to say 4. 4 stars of all the games you could play right now across all home computers. It's still excellent. I'm right on the fence, though. It's a tricky one. All right. Now it's time to put the video game playing on pause. Hit the space bar if you're playing on the Atari home computer, or if you're in the arcade, you just ran out of coins. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, we are shooting down gangsters, and I really wish I had a light gun. Russia is invading Germany, and one of the oldest board games gets turned into a video game. That's it for today, and like I always say, I hope shooters never stop. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.